Hi guys, today I'm going to present the English video essay about the National Treasure by Ahmad Amaluddin bin Haris, student ID 2020890654, group PEM 1101A1. Introduction to the National Treasure movie. Hollywood has released a lot of action movies since the establishment of the movie industry, and one of their renowned action and adventurous movie is The National Treasure. The National Treasure is an American action movie that was released worldwide in 2004. It had a sequel which is The National Treasure Book of Secrets, which was released in 2007. Both of the movies have a similar plot twist, which was the adventure of solving puzzle. Basically, this is a story of Benjamin Franklin Gates, a historian and a major cryptologist. He was searching for a lost treasure and other artifacts that were hidden by American Freemasons during the American Revolutionary War. Benjamin and friends found a coded map on the back of the American Declaration of Independence which points to the location of the national treasure. But there are other parties that were searching for the treasure. As the story told, whoever decoded the map first would find the greatest treasure in history. Therefore, I shall try to summarize the story. What is the story about? National Treasure is a history-filled adventure movie that may seem to on the surface as a light fun movie to watch, but there is more depth to the moral judgment assumptions displayed that one might initially think. It is fun to watch and easy to like, but what are the moral message, if there is any? The plot follows main protagonists Ben, Riley, and Abigail as they seek to find a treasure which Ben was told about as a child, when which his family has sought after for generations. Along the way, they experience conflict with Ben's former partner and the antagonist of the story, Ian, as they race to steal the Declaration of Independence. For both sides, the treasure hunt depends on an invisible map on the back of the Declaration, and throughout the movie, there is a power struggle between the two sides, all of which ends in both sides working together in a situation and both believe to be in their best interest. Ian is deceived into thinking that he will get to keep the treasure in exchange for possession of the declaration, while Ben believes his actions are necessary to find the treasure and keep the declaration safe. In the end, smarts and deception allows Ben and his team to point Ian in the wrong direction and into the hands of the FBI, while they continue to the hidden treasure room and fast reach. What is the main goals or motivation of the characters? In National Treasure, there are two motivations which appear necessary to analyze are those of the main protagonist Ben and the main antagonist Ian. Ben is portrayed as a character who generally wants to do the right thing and is motivated by finding the treasure, not because he desires the money, but because he wants to prove that exists and desire to share it with the world. For most, if not all, of the movie, Ben seems to be following a more practical ethical system. The means justify the end as long as it results in the greatest good for the greatest number. What is the thing that is good for the most people? He understands that stealing the declaration is wrong. He's breaking the law and potentially putting the declaration in danger. But the consequences of him stealing it are worth the alternative. Ian, however, is motivated simply by self-gain and money. He wants the treasure because it will be good for him. Ian appears to be adhering to a more ethical egoist system. He is in it for himself, and what guides right and wrong for him is only what most benefits himself. He wants to steal the declaration so that he can get the treasure for himself. And if anyone stands in the way of what's good for him, he doesn't hesitate to pull out a gun and threaten their life. How those characters and their goals are intended to be portrayed to the audience. Both of their systems, which are the greatest good for the greatest number, or what most benefits himself. We see beneath the surface of the main characters in the National Treasure have consequence at the root of their moral decisions. They seem only to differ slightly. One examines consequence for all, while the other examines consequence for himself, but they are miles apart in the way where their respective way they make everyday decisions, and that is apparent from the decision and action of each character in the movie, as well as how they are meant to be perceived by the audience. Ben is the clear hero of the movie and Ian is the villain. What then does this say about the moral message being pushed by the writers and the director? Based on the perceived notion that Ben is the hero and Ian is the villain, while challenging the ethical system, stealing the Declaration of Independence is a serious crime. Yet, National Treasure goes to the great lengths to show that Ben stealing it was not only morally permissible, but that he had some sort of obligation to do it. Is the main goal or motivation permissible? The practical ethical system that National Treasure seems to endorse can be dangerous. First, it is also impossible to truly weigh the outcomes and consequences of certain events. Life event can be unpredictable. Second, many people disagree on what truly is the greatest good and many practical thinkers have it wrong. Thus, the basis of their entire ethical system could lead to the action way out of line with a good moral thinking. And finally, the movie portrays that practical system completely leaves out of love and other emotion and turns decision into math equations. However, this movie makes me believe that there are consequences of action should be considered and be weighed when pursuing certain action. I also think that National Treasure display a fairly positive message, which is that doing something considered wrong by some to do what you ultimately know to be right is not the worst system to be lived by. Conclusion. Therefore, although I think that National Treasure is a fun movie to watch, it could be dangerous to base your ethical thinking and decision making on anything or anyone the movie displays, even the hero. Thank you for watching, guys.